Aloha and good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to This Is Now. We begin today with a recap of Saturday's primary election results. Now, there were some exciting races, and many of the candidates are already getting to work preparing for the general election in November.
Casey Lunn starts our coverage with a look at the wins by the incumbent mayors on 2 counties.
A really important primary election here in 2024. We were covering all of the races that happened, not just these mayoral races. We have our complete coverage online at hawaiinews.com. I want to talk a little bit about the Hawaii County mayor race. That was, of course, between current mayor Mitch Roth and Kimo Alameda. They will face off in the general election in November. Mitch Roth secured 18,399 votes, about 36%. He beat out Kimo Alameda, Brianna Kobayashi, and Junior Tupai. This race relatively close between Roth and Alameda. The mayor won by a little over 5,000 votes. One of the earliest candidates to announce his campaign was Alameda. He served as the executive of the county's Office of Aging under mayors Billy Kanoy and Harry Kim. He also garnered an endorsement from the Hawaii Iron Workers Union, Local 625.
Our county workers, our team has done some amazing things. We came in during COVID, and so the question was, were we going to be able to survive financially? We have our best bond rating ever right now. We've looked at the things that we've done with our roads. We've doubled the amount of roads that we've been paving right down the street from where we are right here. You can see that there's roads being paved. We have a lot of projects. We want to see them through to fruition. We have our wastewater facilities. We have housing. We have our permitting system, which is better than it was, but still not where we want it to be. A lot of projects that we're working on, we just want to see them through.
Let's move on to a less competitive race. Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi took a very clear victory here in the city and county of Honolulu. He was elected by a big margin, more than 70% of the vote, 124,434. More than 100,000 votes above his nearest opponent, Chun James, who was just shy of 23,000. 13%. It was an expected victory for the mayor, who spoke shortly after that race was called early Saturday evening.
When we started out, there was a lot we had to go through together to get our foundation. Over the course of time, we've made a lot of inroads. We've built our foundation. My challenge to the team right now, knowing how good they are, is we're going to pick up the pace. Before we're done, what we're going to get done for this city is going to be remarkable. Nothing short of that. So I promise you, I promise the voters, if this is even on television right now, you will not be sorry for this vote of confidence you've given us tonight in this election. We are really ready for this next term. Thank you very much.
Mayor Blangiardi had to receive 50% of the vote plus one in order to not go to that general election in November. He won outright, so he knows that with that victory secured, he'll be starting his second term. He says some of his top priorities are cost of living, tackling that, homing affordability, as well as the Department of Planning and Permitting, improving their system there. Again, we want to let people know that our entire coverage, all the races, not the mayoral races, we have also the House and Senate races here online at hawaiiNewsNow.com.
There was also a major upset in the race for the seat representing District 25. Kim Koko Iwamoto beat incumbent and House Speaker Scott Saiki. Iwamoto secured 2,649 votes, with Saiki behind at 2,395. For 3 decades, voters in his district have chosen him to represent them at the state capitol. But in the 2 primary elections before this one, Saiki had to fight hard to keep his seat, narrowly defeating fellow Democrat Kim Koko Iwamoto both times, but this time Iwamoto prevailed.
So it feels great to have this experience, especially knowing that so many very powerful people endorsed him as well. So I wasn't just, campaigning against him, I was campaigning against the entire Democratic establishment. At the end of the day I'm there to help the people of my district and the state, and we have to work together. It's not about, and it's a time to put all the petty politics aside, and it's a time to find ways to work together on things we agree on solutions that we agree on, and not hold grudges. It's about, so I'm really excited to move forward and work collaboratively with everyone.
House Speaker Scott Saikie's loss in this tough campaign territory could shake up all of state government. We spoke to the longtime leader at Sunday's Democratic Unity Breakfast.
I mean, this is part of the democratic process, and people who run for office know exactly what they're getting into and what the risks and the benefits are. So, this is, it's up to the voters in the end. But again, I've just been so thankful to have had so much support in our community. And I know that going forward, things will be very positive for all of us.
Saikie is endorsed by the governor and other top politicians, which Iwamoto said proves he's entrenched. The matchup was the most expensive state house campaign. As of the end of June, Saikie spent $227,000 and Iwamoto $109,000. One of the big issues present in the district is the rising rates of condo insurance. Turning now to national politics and the latest from the presidential campaign trail. It's just 1 week to go until the Democratic National Convention. That's being held in Chicago. And new polling shows that the race for the White House remains very competitive. NBC's Bree Jackson has more from Washington.
Preparations are underway for the Democratic National Convention in Chicago next week. The revamped Democratic ticket is riding a wave of enthusiasm and seeking to build excitement around their policies,
including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Echoing former President Trump.
We are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
After not posting on the platform X for nearly a year, Trump is returning to promote his agenda in an interview tonight with Elon Musk. Meanwhile, J.D. Vance is backpedaling on Mr. Trump's recent comments, suggesting he's open to banning the abortion pill.
His goal is not to block mifepristone, it's to let states make the decision on abortion policy.
Harris has been a staunch champion for reproductive rights, an area where Republicans struggle. Polling shows she's now leading Trump among likely voters in 3 key swing states: Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, within the margin of error. Signs of a more competitive race since President Biden dropped out. During his first interview since doing so, he explained his decision.
My Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races.
Biden hopes to help the Democratic ticket when he takes the stage at the convention. And President Trump's virtual discussion on X tonight comes after he was kicked off of the platform, then known as Twitter, in the days following the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol. His account was reinstated back in 2022, but until today, he had only posted there once. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
Now we look to CBS's Skylar Henry, who has more on this presidential campaign trail. Former President Donald Trump was focused on cyber issues Monday, saying his campaign team was hacked.
Former President Donald Trump's campaign says Iran is behind a hack that gained access to what appeared to be its research on Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance. The material was sent to Politico and the Washington Post in late July from an anonymous email account. CBS News cybersecurity analyst Chris Krebs told Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan that more cyber attacks are likely.
We have a long way to go in this election. Iran specifically seems to have advanced their efforts, moved them to the left perhaps a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see Russia enter the fray soon.
Trump is also saying Vice President Harris used artificial intelligence to fake pictures showing large crowds at her rallies last week. But CBS News was one of the several news organizations on the campaign swing and verified crowd size estimates were accurate.
November 5th, 2024, justice will be done.
Trump also returned to X for the first time in nearly a year, posting a video Monday ahead of his conversation with Elon Musk on the platform formerly known as Twitter. After a busy week of rallies with her VP pick, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Vice President Harris's campaign says she's working on her economic policies, which will be unveiled this week. Governor Walz is expected to hold his first solo campaign event in Los Angeles Tuesday. Walz went after Trump during a stop in Las Vegas Saturday.
He'll gut Social Security, pull your health care, underfund public schools, all of it. That's damn right. Damn right. We're not going back.
Walz will be speaking in L.A. with union workers, a key constituency for the Democratic ticket. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
In local news, a fender bender nearly turned deadly, and now police are looking for a suspect. A man and woman rear-ended another man in the Waianae area last Thursday night. That driver allegedly got out of his vehicle and assaulted the 28-year-old driver. When the couple tried to drive away, the man fired shots at them. He's facing attempted murder charges. So far, no arrests have been made. Police say the two cars had been racing. And in central Oahu, a fight over a parking space at the Waipio Costco ended with a 62-year-old man in police custody. The argument started around 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon. At first, it was just verbal, but then police say the 62-year-old man reached into the 33-year-old's vehicle and grabbed him by the neck. When the victim tried to open his car door, the suspect allegedly slammed it on his leg. We're told bystanders had to pull the men apart. Police records show the 62-year-old was released from custody pending investigation.
Honolulu police are trying to track down a bank robbery suspect. The crime happened just before 11 on Saturday morning at the Bank of Hawaii on East Manoa Road. The male suspect gave the teller a note which demanded money. He got an undisclosed amount and ran. A description of the suspect has not been released. Maui police and the FBI continue to investigate several IEDs found around the island in recent weeks. The devices vary in size and shape. One even exploded, damaging a woman's vehicle. On Saturday, authorities thought they had tracked down a vehicle linked to the explosion in Wailuku, and they evacuated a neighborhood.
All these gun violations that are happening, and now knowing, there's bombs, and this is not Hawaii, This is not how I was raised here.
The vehicle was later determined to be safe and unrelated to the case. The FBI urges the public to stay aware and report any suspicious activity. The Biden administration announced today that the timing of an Iranian attack on Israel could be this week. Now, the comment comes amid new signs of escalation in the region. Nicole Skanga reports from the White House.
Palestinians cleared rubble following an Israeli airstrike on a house in a refugee camp in the central Gaza Strip Monday. It comes as Israel braces for possible retaliatory attacks by Iran and its allies in Lebanon, following the recent killings of senior Hamas and Hezbollah leaders. On Sunday, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered the USS Lincoln to get to the area faster. And in a rare announcement, the Pentagon also deployed the guided missile submarine USS Georgia to the region.
President Biden spoke today with France, Germany, Italy, and the United Kingdom to discuss the situation in the Middle East and ongoing efforts to de-escalate tensions and reach a ceasefire and hostage deal in Gaza.
CBS News has learned President Biden's top advisor for Mideast affairs, Brett McGurk, has tentative plans to fly to Egypt this week for a new round of ceasefire and hostage release negotiations.
We fully expect talks to move forward, as they should. All negotiators should return to the table and bring this deal to conclusion.
But citing in part Israel's deadly strike over the weekend on a Gaza school-turned-shelter that Israel says was also a terror command center, Hamas is non-committal about Thursday's talks. The group is focused on the proposal it agreed to from early July. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, oil prices jumped sharply today as traders worry about a potential uptick in violence in the Middle East. U.S. crude rose 4.2% and closed at $80 a barrel, while Brent crude, the world benchmark, gained 3% to close at $82 a barrel. Analysts are concerned a widening conflict could disrupt the flow of oil out of the Strait of Hormuz, the biggest shipping channel in the world for oil. A new needle-free alternative to the EpiPen could help kids and parents feel more at ease with the emergency treatment of allergic reactions. The FDA approved Neffy for adults and kids weighing at least 66 pounds who are in danger of anaphylaxis. Neffy contains epinephrine, the same medication that's in the EpiPen, delivered through the nose rather than an injection. It's expected to be just as effective and on the market in about 2 months.
Now, some of the side effects with the Neffy is nasal irritation, throat irritation, headaches, some jitteriness. A lot of that has to do with the epinephrine itself.
The FDA refused approval for neffy last year, asking the drug maker for more data about repeat dosing. The agency said just as with injectable epinephrine, patients using neffy may need emergency care after experiencing anaphylaxis. All right, let's take a live look outside with our tower cam over Honolulu. Temperature outside is 85 degrees, and it's going to be a pretty breezy week. We're going to have your forecast with Guy Hoggy, as well as some last Olympic news after this quick break.
How's it on this Monday? Our weather pattern is looking really good for the rest of the week. We're expecting breezy winds. We're expecting these windward and Malka showers to come in the overnight and early morning hours. Rainfall totals will remain light. Even better news, we're now 3 months into the hurricane season. Still very quiet here in the Central Pacific and in the East Pacific. We don't have any cyclonic activity, so that's good. And good thing is we are seeing some showers this morning for a handful of windward spots. And with the winds being breezy, there's a slight chance that leeward sides could get some spillover. But so that's not going to amount to a lot of rain anyway. And there are those winds that they'll be picking up speed throughout the day. We're thinking today and for the next several days, the winds will be running at about 10 to 25 miles an hour. So humidity levels not an issue, although the brush fire threat will be elevated with those breezy winds. Take a look at what to expect today and for the next several days. A few morning showers here and there, especially for Hilo and for Lihue. Otherwise, our rainfall will be minimal. We're expecting a lot of afternoon sunshine. That's why temperatures running still into the upper 80s, near 90 for some leeward spots. Surf's going to be pretty small for the rest of the week. We are expecting a minor boost for south and north shores later in the week, and east shores will likely be picking up because of the consistent steady trade winds. So east shores will be choppy though. So this is what we're looking at for the next several days. Breezy trade winds 10 to 25 all the way through Friday. They might get a little bit stronger over the weekend. Now the weather pattern is not going to change very much. Partly cloudy skies today, mostly sunny skies all the way through Thursday, and then partly cloudy skies again on Friday. But again, the overall trade and weather pattern is not going to change. So just enjoy a long stretch of the best weather on the planet.
The drama surrounding U.S. gymnast Jordan Chiles and her bronze medal continues. Team USA has filed an appeal saying it has time-stamped evidence that it filed its appeal to have Chiles' floor exercise score adjusted within the 1-minute deadline. She was initially in 5th place, but after her coach filed an inquiry with the judges, she was moved to 3rd, securing the bronze medal for the event. On Saturday, the Court of Arbitration for Sports ruled that the appeal did not happen in time, stripping Childs of her medal. It's unclear how long it could take for Team USA's appeal to go through the arbitration process. So here's a look at the final medal count. Up at the top, the USA finishes with the most overall medals with 126. The U.S. and China are tied for gold, each earning 40 medals. Japan, Australia, and host France round out the top 5. The curtain just closed on the Summer Games in Paris, but fans are getting riled up for what's to come in 4 years in Los Angeles. Tina Kraus has more.
The sun has set on the Olympics in Paris. Workers are clearing the French capital and thousands of athletes heading home.
The whole event was safe, easy to get around. America's got a lot to live up to, quite honestly. I was impressed.
Los Angeles residents Tim and Joy Dolman were in Paris for Sunday's star-studded closing ceremony.
And the climax with Tom Cruise was fantastic. And the handoff to L.A.
When the Games head to L.A. in 2028, some wonder how California's largest city can compete.
We have issues, with infrastructure, but we'll come up with something good, I think, for in 4 years.
We don't have the same desserts.
And many say the French ooh la la factor will be hard to beat.
Paris, I think it was the perfect, especially beach volleyball settings, like Eiffel in the back. Oh my God.
LA will become the third city to host the Games 3 times.
We live here, so we're definitely going to go watch the Olympics in 4 years.
I'm not excited because I live here, and it's going to be a disruption.
Back in Paris, these sport-loving sisters from Houston say no matter who plays host, the spirit of humanity wins.
There's no enemies, there's no negative, no ill will. Everybody is like brothers and sisters.
A little magic on the world's biggest stage, playing out every 4 years. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Well, it is that time of year again. It is back to school for thousands of students. And with the new school year comes new expenses. Julia Vargas has more from Los Angeles.
It's back to school and back to reality. Between those regular school supplies, electronics, clothing, and shoes, American families are expected to come very close to last year's record high in spending.
School is back in session, and with it, big spending.
We're expecting consumers shopping for back to school and back to college to spend at near record amounts following last year's historic highs.
The National Retail Federation estimates families with children in elementary through high school plan to spend on average nearly $875 on school supplies, clothes, and electronics. The reason?
Electronics are a much bigger portion of back to school and college spending than they used to be. Kids these days, whether they're in elementary school, middle school, or high school, are usually attending class equipped with some sort of electronic device to aid in their learning.
It's even more expensive for college students who are expected to spend more than $1,300 on average for the upcoming school year. Elizabeth Moore, a shopping expert with Retail Minot, says there are ways to save.
One thing that parents should be aware of is their opportunity to stack sales with other discounts.
Moore also says start shopping early. This will help spread the cost and maximize the chances of finding a deal.
The data that we have from the record-breaking Amazon Prime Day this year shows that many parents actually started their back-to-school shopping with their midsummer sales all the way back in July.
Shopping smart can help stretch your dollar further this school year.
And parents are not the only ones having to open their wallets. The National Association of Educators estimates that teachers spend between $500 and $750 of their own money each year to get students what they need. Julia Vargas Jones, Los Angeles.
Oh man, sticker shock.
I know. I used to
supplies.
love going back to school shopping, but it was never that much.
I never liked going back to school shopping.
Oh, the new box of crayons, like the big one. Oh, it was
no, because for me it meant I got to go back to school, so I wanted to stay in summer all year long. We want to end today's show with a happy birthday to Hawaii's newest centenarian, Betty Mitsuko Tokunaga, turned 100 on Sunday. Her family threw her a lovely celebration at the 100th Infantry Battalion Memorial Building in Mo'iliili. A little bit about her. She was born and raised in Paia, Maui, but ended up living in Niu Valley. She is the widow of Go for Broke Hawaii Battalion Army veteran Mike Tokunaga. Together, they had 2 daughters and 1 son. Their family has since grown to include 7 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild, with 1 more on the way. Grandma Betty, as they call her, retired as a payroll clerk from Mass Transit Line, which is now Oahu Transit Services. She spoke about what it was like growing up in her time.
When I was young, I used to
exercise,
play games. I play even with the boys. Football, baseball, when they're playing on the roof, I just joined them. And they let me play too, so I play with the boys.
Showing the boys how to do
Atta
it.
girl, Betty.
Yes, and the family adds that she was the authoritative figure in the family. She didn't let anything slide, but she did everything with aloha. Happy birthday to you, Miss Betty.